Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bullhucker podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
And I am Duncy Kudron.
And we are on location again.
Yes.
DeRoche Contractors. Now, if you want to know what DeRoche does, you can check out the Lindsay DeRoche episode. She kind of explains it. Sprinkler systems for farm and fixing them and all kinds of good stuff. But we will put a link below to the DeRoche Contractors building and how you get here and all the stuff, all those services they're offering. So thank you, DeRoches, for letting us do it here. Very nice of them. Also, we have an old friend of mine on the podcast and an old friend of yours as well, Mr. Sherman Kage.
Who do you like better, me or Larry? Just kidding.
Don't answer that, Sherman. Don't answer. As you're a lawyer, I advise you not to answer that question.
But it's me. I know.
Don't wink at her monkey ass either.
You're the one that had to say, "Ooh, he's an old friend of mine."
No,
I was like, "What? Bitch, I know him too."
I'm sorry.
I probably have more years with Dentsia since she lived like 6
There
blocks.
you go.
Just straight
I
up.
have
go.
more years
More
with Dan
shit.
Cias as a guy. That's shocking. It's actually the little brother of Jerry Kage, who was just on. I know. That's
Why do you got to bring that up?
That's why that's why I
Jerry.
invited you. That son of a bitch, you know. Actually, it was a pretty good episode of Jerry. So
No, Jerry's pretty animated.
Did you know what his stories were?
We talked about it a little bit, and it came down to the last minute with Jerry. Because I don't know if you know Jerry, I think he's semi-ADD. He kind of bounces off the walls, kind of like what we talked about earlier before this.
Yeah.
And so he echoes, and he just doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, nobody knows what he's doing, you know. And so he bounced some things off me, and I was like, well, okay, yeah, sure. Well, we're gonna do this one, and we're gonna do that. And I was like, and then I hear the podcast, I'm like, you completely went south, bro.
Oh, really?
And so
Okay.
yeah.
we worked for Pepsi together. That's where we kind of got to know each other.
Yeah.
And then we knew each other back in the day, a long time ago.
Long time, high school times, yeah.
Yeah.
You two worked at Pepsi together?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Sherman's
that.
the one that trained me to the job I had. Yeah.
Like you should have taught him all the wrong stuff.
He tried.
I was trying to teach him to look for another job.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you a story about Sherman. There was a guy that we called the Heart Attack Kid. Little redheaded guy, remember him?
Yes.
He was like, how old was he? I'll say his name. He was in his late 20s, early 30s.
That's what I was gonna guess. Early 30s.
So he would think he had a heart attack all the time. Like, remember that?
Yeah. So you'd have to relief drive for him,
Yes.
and he was all
Yeah.
He would fake a heart attack.
Sure.
He was.
Shut up. Not even explosive diarrhea.
Listen, man,
A heart
it was like George Jefferson in this bitch. Like, no, wait, no, who am I thinking of? No,
Red Fox. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
I'm coming, Miss Elizabeth. I'm coming.
Pretty sure it's a heart attack again.
30-year-old cat. We're like, dude.
Yeah.
I know it's 100 degrees outside, and you got 1,000 cases to throw today, but
He
come on, bro.
calls,
Yeah.
I had the Widowmaker last night.
Yeah.
No, you didn't, you asshole. If you had the Widowmaker, you'd be dead.
Sure.
There was the one time, it was in December, I just started, and he was covering my route, and I got a call the night before and said, hey, he thinks his spleen exploded or something. I don't remember this or not. And I was so new to the job, and they're like, can you come in? And I was like, yeah, I guess I have to. I was at a comedy show, right? So I go in there tired, and I go in there, and Sherman's in there working. And John goes, I caught hold of Sherman. He's going to help you, so you guys just knock it out and go. And so fucking stalking and all this. And that guy walks by.
He walks by the aisle. Yeah. And we're like.
It was Black Friday. It was Black Friday.
It was Black Friday. We both we take a second glance and we're looking and we go. Then we look at each other like,
That asshole.
this motherfucker.
I go, hey man, you good? He goes, turns out I was just constipated. and I go, I was so I'm brand new to this job, and I was like, you know what, that works out because Sherman and I were talking about beating the shit out of you, so we'll take care of that problem right now, dude.
Larry's no sleep, hung down, and I'm sitting there. I don't work weekends, and I'm like, oh man,
This
guy,
sucks.
Yeah, this is in trouble. Yeah.
Oh my
He
God.
walks by with his family. They got the Black Friday socks deal in there and shit, you know.
And Walmart's bad enough on its own, let alone on Black Friday.
Why would you have to do that on Black Friday?
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Black Friday and on Saturdays on the weekend, stocking Pepsi in Walmart is just it's a fiasco. And
Yeah.
so on top of Black Friday, we're like, dude,
You
Yeah.
Turns out my spleen's okay.
Oh, my God.
But I might have a heart attack next Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. Just so you know, my appendicitis is going to be acting up on the holidays, you know?
Yeah. I got a bleeding hemorrhoid or something.
And that
I don't
lasted for the longest time. I don't remember how he ended up getting fired. He just,
I don't even
he got mad, didn't come to work. And then he told him to F off. And then Calvin says, "Can I have my job back?" Can I have No. We talked to the cardiologist. We can't afford to insure you anymore. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, he was a trip, that one, man. He was something else.
Yeah,
I've been on WebMD. I found other symptoms now.
Yeah.
FMLA wouldn't even cover him anymore. You know?
Yeah. Like, look, man, we're like this close to bankruptcy with your ass. Okay, so he was a trip, man. So, if I said his name, I'll bleep that out. 'Cause, that guy, the heart attack kid's what I called him.
You'll probably catch a suit because you mentioned what was going on. That, he's a heart attack, kid. Or you'll probably make him have a heart attack tomorrow.
But then you'll be such a dick. Everybody will be like, "Good job, Larry."
Where he's working now, his boss will listen to this and be like, "It says his name, like that is his name."
Yeah.
He had 3 heart attacks last week. It was nuts. They told me at Safeway the one day it was like Red Fox. That's why he said that, because he was like, "Ooh, ooh." He sat down on the 12 packs and he's like, "I'm having a heart attack," and they're like, "Oh my God!" They called an ambulance, and because I got a call from the boss, he's like, "You gotta go to Safeway." I'm like, "Why?" And he's like,
You know why.
Yeah, he's having hard chest pains. I'm like, son of a bitch. All right.
And I always wondered where he was because he never put me down as a reference. So
That is funny. I love that he fakes a heart attack. That's good.
But then again, when you work at Pepsi, you've worked with everybody in this town at least once. I mean,
that's true.
were you there in
That's true.
2013 when we had that huge turnover, like 26 people in a year or something out of a 13-person staff?
Are you serious?
Or are you gone already?
I think. No, I was there. 2013. At the end of 2013 was the last year I was there.
Okay.
So I left there in like November.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like, we come in and people just quit right and left.
We're done.
And I'd see them at Walmart. And they're like, "Hey, Larry." I'm all, "Hey, April of 2013. I don't remember. You were there for 3 weeks. I can't remember your name, dude." You know what I mean? Like,
Is it just shitty work? Hard work?
It's work.
It's work.
It's actual work. That's why.
It wasn't a bad gig. It paid well for the time.
Yeah,
And for a lot of us drivers, we got off at like 2:00 in
Right.
the afternoon. We finished our
Going
route.
at 6.
Going at 5 or 6. And you
Yeah.
get on at 2 and never really had to work weekends unless there's special events or you have to cover somebody. But I mean, it was a pretty good gig for the for the time. So
Yeah.
and the benefits were great. And
That's what I was gonna ask.
it was wonderful. I mean, but
And the company's okay. But it's actual work.
it's work.
It's work. That's what people don't like. Because I mean, it gets to a point where you walk in the back and there's 5 more pallets of pop put away, and you're like, "Son of a man,"
I do have a heart attack now.
Yeah.
And then you're working, as a driver, you're always in the weather, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
blistering heat or it's 3 feet of snow.
Right.
So
Yeah, that sucks.
yeah, so you're never out of it. You're always in it. So
It's
That's
the
so
same.
true.
It's the same gig as Budweiser has, Coors has,
Right.
Coke has. It's not the actual Pepsi company. It's the work, man. It's a young man's game. You don't see old drivers at Pepsi.
no,
You don't-
it's a young man's game.
Yeah.
for sure.
So, okay. Well, welcome to the Bullhucker podcast. If you're new to the podcast, what we do is we bring on a guest. Today's Sherman Kage. Sherman's going to tell us 3 stories about his life. Now, the kicker is only 2 of these stories are true. One is either made up, borrowed, or partially made up. Now, Sherman, without going into hardly any detail, what is it? Is it partially made up, all the way made up, or borrowed?
Partially made up.
Partially made up. Okay, which is kind of tough because it's got a
So you're
truth base.
just improvising a
And
little.
and that's why I did it because I watched. I'm a fan of the podcast, so I watch it all
Thank
the time,
you.
and so I'm like, Dempsey and Larry always complain about the partially made up ones because and those. So my odds went up,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Because we like to win.
Right.
Yeah.
So do I. So
Actually,
okay.
Actually, the
It's-
borrowed ones are the toughest because it is an actual whole true story. It's just somebody
Right,
else's true
true.
story. That's what's tough. So, and if you do enjoy what you see today, please hit that subscribe button. It's a little red button on the little red circle on the right bottom hand side of the bottom on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Please hit that button to subscribe. It is appreciated, and it is a.
And it's a little click for you and a big click for us.
See how easy that is. Yeah, you just did. That's good. And no matter where you're looking
Suck it
at.
at 'em.
No matter where you get this at, please leave a rating and review on no matter what platform you check this out on. And look at the bottom of the description. You'll see the Bullhuckers link there. Also, DeRoche's stuff on there, too, in case you want to check this place out. So,
Yeah. I mean, you got anything you want to put in there, Sherman?
First
you
of-
let him know.
yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to apologize that I'm not the overachiever that Jerry is, and and have wines and vines
You
and
know
bottles
what?
of
You
wines.
should. You didn't even bring us anything to drink.
I didn't have the option. I was just told, hey, meet at DeRoche. And I was like, okay, so I guess I don't get to go over the top and really one-step Jerry, which I was really looking forward to.
Yes.
But maybe there will be a future one where I can just be like, hey, you know
Come back
what?
on.
That is, I like his thoughts that he's like, Dencia wants to drink.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I let her down.
I'm worried that I want to bring people on to drink, and then I'm going to be like, you got to cut that out, man. The thing I said about my boss, you got to cut it out. I'm like, you know what? Eat shit, heart attack kid. You are going to... That story stays in the
We
books.
just need to drink. We don't need to always get drunk. Okay?
Dencia,
Jeez.
when does that ever happen with us?
I'm getting better. Once I turn 50, I'm getting better.
Larry, come over. We'll have 13, 15 beers, but we'll stop before one of us pukes up or has to go to the hospital. I go, well, that's responsible. You got me there.
Fair.
Yeah, because as we get older, it's harder to recover. The recovery time is terrible.
That's
You get smarter.
Yeah, so then you get older and you get smarter, and
that's
I like it.
not getting all lushed out on a Wednesday is probably not the best idea.
you know what? But that's why I don't drink as much anymore, because sometimes when I start drinking, the little devil on my shoulder is like, Larry, you just said something in English and I understood all of it. You are not nearly drunk enough,
My husband actually quit drinking.
Wow.
altogether.
Yeah, let's do it. And you know what he says now when he drinks? He drinks O'Doul's, and he says, O'Doul's don't make me act a fools.
I mean, congratulations, Carrie, for going sober.
Yeah, congratulations.
You're
Yeah.
dead to me. All right, okay.
Say, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm hoping it's just a break, but we'll see.
This is it's a phase, Carrie. It's a phase. Once your liver shrinks down to its normal size and goes back to its regular color,
You'll be fine.
we'll get back into it, my
Yes.
friend. Yeah. All right. Well, Dencia,
All right.
you want to read off our...
I do, and I'm going to say this right
Stories.
because Larry will fuck it up.
oh, here we go.
We got slip on down to the oasis. Did I say it?
You did, yeah.
I'm feeling you. And then, you got this. Is that like, you can do it?
You got this, yeah.
You got this.
Yeah,
you
you
got
can
this.
do it.
You
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
encouragement.
But when you texted to me, you said, you got this ... So it was like a question, I thought.
Oh.
Like, you got...
It's a question like, you got this?
You got this?
It's
You know what?
we'll have to really expand
Yeah,
into it when we get
yeah,
into it. Yeah.
okay.
Just-
We'll discuss it.
You'll understand the several dots after.
Okay, all right.
Okay. An American werewolf in Morgan. I'm curious.
Well, am I picking first or are you picking first?
You pick first.
You know I always take the one I want to hear last. And I know which one I want to hear last. So the one I'd like to hear is, you got this. ...
All right, you got this. So it was the New Year's Eve of 1999, so it's going to be 2000.
Nice.
Y2K.
Y2K, all the all the stuff that
Yeah.
goes with it, and so being kids, we're like, hey, let's go to the red zone, let's go out to the bar,
I heard that one.
We're not going to go, we're not going to be in a global shutdown.
Yeah,
Let's just go to the
yellow.
bar, and if we are, hey, guess what? We're going to have a good time doing it.
Right.
So we go to the red zone, and everything's great, having a good time, sitting there drinking, of course, Jerry was with me.
Oh,
I
God.
like how you say it so, of course,
Yeah.
Jerry was with me.
Yeah.
That motherfucker.
Yeah, because it's kind of a I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it's one of those. It's kind of an inconvenience when Jerry's with you, because like I can walk into any bar in Morgan County by myself, and the bouncers and the bartenders are like, "Hey, Sherman, how are you? Or I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on?" I walk in with Jerry, and we get a visit from the bouncer, the bartender, and they're like, "Hey, Kage Brothers, not tonight." And I'm like, so it's not me, because when I came in here last weekend, I was I didn't get that.
Right.
So,
I believe this part.
how do you not?
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe this part.
Yes.
Well, because-
especially after Jerry, getting throat punched and all of his other jazz that he
Yes.
goes through. You know what I mean?
Well, and that the other stories about fighting came out after that.
Sure,
it was
sure.
like a laundry list of people he's fought. So.
Right. Yeah.
And he
That's-
loves it.
And he does. It's like he should have probably been a UFC fighter, because it's just he takes it and it's like it's
I like the fact you can't get away from him to go to the bar. He's like a stage 5 clinger girl.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like-
Yeah.
He's like, God, he's always here, man.
Yeah. So we're at the red zone. We're having a great time, partying down. Just enjoying. The incoming new year that's going to happen here. It's probably about 11:45. I'm on the dance floor, and I'm with the woman I was, my ex-wife, and we were dancing and whatnot. And I was like, hey, I'm out of champagne. So I went to the bar and I was like, hey, I'm going to go get some more champagne. She's like, okay, cool. So before that, this guy kept coming up to me. He goes, hey, can I dance with her? Can I dance with her? And I was like, I don't care. Go ahead. You know what I mean? I'm not a jealous person. And he took his shot after I told him several times, go ahead. I don't care. And so I go up to the bar and I get full bottles. Imagine this. I get bottle service at the Red Zone. So I'm getting full bottles of champagne.
Right. You're a high roller.
Right. Yeah. And which they don't do, and not only that, but Y2K and big champagne bottles can be weapons.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I get these 2 big champagne bottles, and I'm walking back to the dance floor, and my ex-wife looks over at me, and she's like, help me. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, you really ain't doing nothing bad,
Right. Right.
And so I was like, no, you're
the champagne.
I was like, you're good. I'm just talking to other people. She's like, get over here,
Yeah.
And so I go over there and I tap him on the shoulder. And I said, hey man, you mind if I step in? And he's like, no, that's cool. So mind you, Jerry's on the dance floor with me, and so next thing you know, I'm dancing with her, and we're just having a good time. We're drinking our bottles of champagne, and just next thing you know, I get a tap on the shoulder, and I turn around and it's the guy that was dancing with her, and he goes, hey, I just got to tell you something. And I was like, okay, what's up, man? You all right? You good? And he goes, she ain't nothing but a whore anyway.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
And so it took me a minute, because I was kind of like in that little shell shock, like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I'm sorry, did you just say what I think you
Yeah,
said?
yeah. You think, and he's like, and I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, she ain't nothing but a whore anyway. And I was like, dude, that's, it's my wife. And once I said, woof, his eyes got about this big around.
Right.
And I just, spider senses or whatever, just went off. And I'm sitting there going, he's going to swing, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And so he gets about this big around, and he cocks back, and he trying to throw a haymaker. Well, I see it coming, so I grab him by the brim of his shirt as he's wrenching back, and I grab him like this. He swings, and then I pull him in, and then I just throttle him.
Right.
He hits the ground, and I'm like, you gonna get up? And the dance is still going. Everything's still going on. Nobody even acknowledged that I just throttled this dude in the middle of the dance floor. Everybody's still like, and I'm sitting there going, this can't be real. He just went to sleep right here. That's not going to work for me. You're not going to get away that easy.
Yeah.
So I bend down. Jerk move. I bend down. I get over top of him, and I just start throttling him some more.
Is he passed out?
Oh yeah.
And you just keep beating him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at this time, as I'm taking strokes on him, next thing you know, I just feel beer bottle. I felt the beer bottle just bashed across the left side of my head, and I'm like,
oh shit!
And I look up, and I'm going, what the fuck? Where'd that come from?
It was your wife.
Because everybody's still going boom boom, still jamming out and dancing and whatnot. And so I get down, I go to hit him again, and I feel one on my right side, and I'm like, what in the fuck? And I look at Jerry, and I'm going, and Jerry goes, like this. And I'm going, what the fuck does that mean,
Oh,
And so I bent down to, like, I was going to hit him again, and I kind of looked at the corner of my eye, and there's these two little people.
Midgets?
No, they're
You wish.
Let it be a midget.
they're like,
You
I
wish.
think they're from like Guatemala or Guam or something
yeah,
like that. So
yeah.
they're just littler people.
I know karate.
Yeah, and so they're just bashing me with bottles, So I see this one. So I go down and I'm acting like I'm going to throttle this guy one more time, like he didn't need it. And he comes at me like this, and I see him out of the corner of my eye, and I just reach over and I throttle him. Well, then next thing you know, the other one comes and I throttle him, and next thing, I got people jumping off the bar coming at me like this. And so I'm just swinging. Next thing you know, I'm in a full ass roadhouse situation. Chairs are being broken, tables are getting upturned, and I'm swinging my life away. And I look over at my brother, and I'm going, dude, are you going to help me? And he goes,
Just keeps dancing.
he's like, no, you got this. You got this, man. You got this. And I'm like, dude, as I'm talking to him, I'm swinging. I'm just throwing random punches just to try to fight off the flies. And I'm like, bro, Jerry. And he goes, no, you're good. You got this. And I'm, motherfucker.
There's 10 of them.
Figure like spider monkeys.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I think like cavemen surrounding a mammoth trying to take it down. You know what I'm saying?
So we're sitting there, and I'm just still throwing, and finally, the lights come on. They clear the bar. Cops come. What time? You can probably remember Sergeant Code.
Well, of course.
Sergeant Code comes in, and I'm sitting by the front door of the red zone, and he goes, "What the fuck is going on here, Kage?" And I'm like, "Hey, I was just defending my business at the time."
Yeah.
You know, and he goes, "Go to my car and wait for me there. And I want you." And he goes, "Actually, I want you to get in the front seat." And so I was like, "Okay, I'll do what you said. You know, I've known you forever. Go to get in the front seat." This new deputy or this new police officer started working. He comes over and he grabs me and throws me against the car, pulls out his gun. He goes, "Get away from the car." And I'm like, "Dude, what's your issue, bro?" I was like, "Your sergeant just told me to get in the car.
Right.
We put you in the car. You don't get in the car by yourself." And I was like, "You need to go talk to your superior, because I was told specifically by Sergeant Code, who I highly respect and I listen to, because he's going to tell my dad if about this, which I'd rather go to jail than him tell my dad."
Right.
And so me and this guy are fighting. Well, Sergeant Code comes out and he goes, "Hey, what is your problem? Put your weapon away. I told him to get in the car, you know." And I was like, "You owe me a fucking apology." He goes, "I ain't apologizing to nothing." And I was like, "Say it now. Say it." I said, "Sergeant Code, make him apologize." He goes, "I'm not making him apologize. Get in the goddamn car," and blah, blah, blah. So we get in the car, and Jerry's nowhere to be found. So I get in the car, and next thing you know, here comes Jerry, about 5 minutes after they get the bar all cleared out, and Jerry knocks on the window, and I roll it down, and he goes, "I'll come pick you up. I'll be right there, and I'll come get you." "Okay, you better fucking come get me."
Yeah.
And so I go to the jail, and I'm sitting there, and they're booking me in, right, for assault, like 3rd degree assault. And I'm like,
On 45 little people.
and I'm like, you know, I'm like, is this really necessary? You know, I mean, I was well, you can tell, you know, you can deal with that in court, whatnot. I was like, so how am I going to get out of this situation? And he goes, "Well, if your brother comes and gets you, then we'll let you go. But if not, we're just going to keep you overnight, because we don't feel safe letting you go." So I'm sitting there. Jerry never shows up.
Oh.
So I had the pleasures of staying the night in jail. So the next day I go over to Jerry's house, and I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck? You were supposed to, hey, I'll come pick you up, bro. I'll come pick you up." Yeah, just like, "Hey, where's my help? You know, you left me you left me in the trenches taking grenades, and where are you?" You know? And so
Why didn't he come get you?
Jerry's
because he decided
Yeah.
he decided that the bar, since the red zone got shut down, he had to go finish up and spend the rest of his New Year's of 2000 at the Cattleman's. And then he had to jump over to the Farmers, and so then at that time it was just too late to come get me, I guess.
Yeah, he's tired.
He was tired. He was wore out. Yeah.
He's like, "I figured you were sleeping."
And he wanted to get some. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
That's probably what it was. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you know, Felicia was probably tuned up a little bit. He was tuned up. And he was probably sitting there, "I'm not going to miss this opportunity." You know?
Right? You're like, "Well, damn it, now I get it."
Yeah.
I'm going to get some. Maybe Sherman's going to get some too. I don't know. Best of luck.
So
You could have too had you stayed in jail a couple more days.
That's what I'm saying.
there were some benefits of staying in jail.
So that's how you opened your millennium.
That's how I opened my millennium. Yeah, in jail. Good time.
How did you? What did you do for 2000?
That was bad. That was the year of my divorce. What'd you do?
I worked at the nightclub. I remember.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was a big thing. Like there was a plan in place in case, like you just said, shit went down and all the power went out. Like
Right.
There's time to defend this shit. Like
Really?
yeah. It was a weird time, man.
It was a crazy. It was definitely a weird night.
Yeah. I remember they do the big countdown at that club. Every 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Like everybody sat there for a second, like you know, and it was nervous. People were nervous in that room. It was slower than most New Year's Eves. I remember that, but yeah, it was
The whole world was
Yeah,
nervous.
I think you still had your major partiers. You know, you
Yeah.
still had your Jerry Cages out there, and then you had your doomsday preppers that were already in their bunker. But
Right.
I don't know.
It's
Just come out and see if the sun's still there.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be funny, like in 20 more years from now, when they're going to look back and laugh at us. I mean, how ridiculous it was that we were worried about that.
In 20 years, I think it's funny now.
Yeah,
like,
it is. It is.
Come on.
But I mean, when your grandkids get old enough to ask
Yes.
about it, and you'll be like, yeah, we thought that it was going to.
That was into the
We had all these computers that were dumb enough to do this. That thought it was 1900. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Like, yeah. So
You know, kind of the war game situation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, would you like to play a game?
Yeah.
You know, oh, man,
Yeah.
the computers are just going to come and kill us all.
Right,
you know?
right.
You better
So-
stock up on toilet paper.
What do I do? What do I do? I'm a computer. I don't know where to go.
hey, the computers, 1900 sound right to you? Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it ride. So, yeah, no, that's. What do you think about that one, Dance?
Sounds like a cage thing. Yeah. Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Jerry left you.
Yeah.
What kind of brother are you,
I'm
man?
having fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It was expected.
It was expected.
What happened to your wife that night?
She went home with Jerry and Felicia, and they came and picked me up in the morning. I was like, and that's why I even asked, I was like, well, can I go with her? And he goes, no, the only person we'll let you go home with Jerry. I'm like, what the fuck? Why Jerry?
Well, because this other guy's hitting on your wife.
Yeah.
She seems interested.
She's into it.
So yeah.
Was the
And
other,
it was probably my fault because I was probably the one that said Jerry was going to come get me. You know, it was like my older brother's going to come get me.
yeah.
And so Jerry.
Did the other guy get arrested?
He actually went off on a ambulance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good.
There was two of them that actually left in an ambulance. and
You said Code. Was the other cop? Does his last name start with an H? Was he the DUI king back in the day?
I don't really remember, to be honest with you.
I don't want to call his name out. But he wasn't a cop for long. This is way back when I first moved back to town. And he always wore his pants like super high, and he always had a wedgie, like, right? So Mom used to call him Puma, and I go, "Why do you call him Puma? Pants up my ass." She used to call him Puma, and I thought it's pretty clever, Mom.
Well,
That is good.
I know exactly who you're talking about now, and we'll talk more about that after this.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. So you got this out of the way, Dencia. Pick one out.
I'm gonna go with American Werewolf in Morgan. Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
American Werewolf in Morgan. So it was probably around late fall, early winter, so September, October-ish. And I had my Jeep, and I was coming back from Brush. I was dating a girl in Brush at the time. And so I was on my way back from Brush. It was probably midnight, 11:30. Didn't have my top on my Jeep. I'm just cruising, having a good time. So that big turn right between Dodd Bridge and Barlow Road,
Okay.
that last big turn. And so I'm sitting there and I'm driving, I'm just cruising along. There's really not a whole lot of traffic. So I see this other car pulled over, and so I was like, I'll just pull over and help him. I pull over, and next thing you know, he's like, dude, you got to come look at this shit. And I'm like, come look at what? And so we step in front of his car, and no bullshit, man. There was this 6'7", 6'8", hairy ass werewolf looking. It looked like a wolf, but he had the extremities of a man. He had 2 legs and arms. And I'm like, what in the fuck, man? This is crazy.
Right.
So I'm sitting there going, I'm not going to get too close because if this thing comes alive, man, we're both in trouble.
Right.
So I get back into my Jeep and we start to pull off, and I go about maybe 20, 30 yards past it. And I look in my side mirrors and I see it get up. And so I pull my Jeep over and I look back, and this thing jumps up on its feet, takes off running down those hills, and then hauls ass into those trees. And then it was the craziest thing. And then the bark or the howl, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Right.
And then it vanished. And so that guy was still there, and he was like, did you just see what the hell I just saw? And I was like, yeah, man, I don't understand what the hell just happened.
Right.
But this happened. And so it's kind of a short story, but
Yeah.
And so every time I go past that turn now, I'm looking into that grove of trees over there by the river, and I'm just like, son of a bitch, you got to be in there, you know? And so
Was
then
it standing on 2 legs?
when it got up, it was standing on 2 legs.
And it ran away on 2
And it
legs.
took off on 2 legs. And this thing had hair like yours, long hair, all over its body.
Like a Bigfoot.
Like a Bigfoot, and it's like, or werewolf or whatever. It was just, like I said, it was just I didn't really get a good look at its face or what it was. It was just like, holy shit, this thing is, it's big, it's hairy. It's like I said, it was like 6'7", 6'8". It was huge.
Wow.
That is
Probably weighed
wild.
like 380 pounds. This thing was just massive. And it was just laying there like it probably got hit or something.
Right,
you know?
right,
And
right.
So every time I take that turn now, and then there's been several times where I've walked the trail, the nature trail.
Right.
And I get a little etched out around that area when we
Yeah.
get deep into that area. So yeah, it's...
What, did it see you?
I don't know if it saw me. I'm hoping it didn't. And I'm hoping it didn't catch my scent and decided to keep it.
Because was it down the road or like below? Like were you guys looking over?
No, it was on the road. It was like on the little median area.
That's
On
crazy.
the median area. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It was a weekend?
Huh?
It was on a weekend?
That was during the week.
Was there a
Doing
full moon?
I don't remember. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I just remember it was way past midnight because I shouldn't have been out, or I shouldn't have been at her house at that late. But
Right.
yeah, craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I'll never forget it as long as I live, and and I'll go to my grave with it. But
I've almost right off the bat want to be like, I believe it.
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, I
it was
do.
the
I'm
creepiest.
feeling it. Like I feel your passion in this
It was
story.
the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was-
I believe in this kind of stuff though. I'm big into it, you know what I mean? So it's out there. I kind
So
of
do you believe in like Bigfoot, Loch
yeah.
Ness?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Last time we had a podcast with Adam, I kind of, because he's a skeptic on all this shit.
Yeah,
but he
yeah,
believes
I
in
did hear
Bigfoot.
that.
That's the one he believes in the Bigfoot, right?
He would.
Yeah. So do you ever watch These Woods Are Haunted?
Yes.
This kind of story happens.
Yeah.
And it's crazy when it happens.
Yep.
Except for those things, like aggressive and vicious. And it's always hunters, like guys that just, they're in their summer cabin or whatever. They're taking a vacation. They go out hunting in the woods and
Yep.
then they run across something like this. And yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah,
It's crazy shit, man. It was, like I said, it was one of those things that I'll never forget in my life. And I was just spooked to the bone. I couldn't sleep. I went
Was it
home.
just you and the guy? Like, did he have a family or
No, it was
what?
just me and the guy,
you
yeah.
him?
And I want to say he was from Iowa. Like, he had an Iowa plate or something like that. He wasn't even from Colorado.
Was
so-
he like, what the
Yeah, we
fuck?
both looked at each other. And we were just kind of like, what the fuck? Did that really just happen?
Right.
And we were both really in disbelief because we're sitting there looking at this massive thing.
Right.
And we're both a little sketched out to touch it or poke it with a stick or anything like that.
You were close enough to it to touch it?
I was probably about from here to that, probably 5-6 feet away from it.
Oh, I thought it was like further down.
No,
Like, you were
like it
what are
was
these
like
hills?
yeah, like on the median, like
Yeah.
like right there on the median,
Once again,
or not the median, the emergency shoulder.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
getting-
Yeah,
but right on the
yeah.
emergency shoulder.
utility lane. Yeah.
Yeah, the white line lane.
I'm thinking like just like Lindsay's story. Like I think the story's gonna be like on Tommy Boy where the thing comes alive when you poke it. You know what I'm saying? Sherman screams like a girl, lights it up a few times
Yeah.
on the ground.
Yeah, there would have been no lighting this thing up because, like I said, it was
And it ran away from you or
yeah.
towards you?
Because after I
Away.
took off and I was coming back towards Barlow Road, and I saw it jump up and it took off down that hill, which is a pretty big hill right there.
Right.
Took off and then jammed across that field and into the woods.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Towards
it
the
was-
river.
Yep, right towards the river and all that that big that grove of trees right there.
All right.
So if you had to guess, would something like that like kill chickens?
Oh yeah,
Get off,
definitely
like,
probably
yeah,
chickens or squirrels. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whatever it could get, And there's a lot of cows that because there's cows that graze down there.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any cows getting carcasses or anything like that.
But would you know a cow here, a cow there? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
a farmer would probably turn it in, but I mean, you wouldn't.
Nobody would know about it.
Right.
Unless it's like a mass thing, like you see on the UFO shows where a bunch of them are been,
Right, you get 60 of them that were sucked up into it.
or like just have radiation burns and all kinds of crazy
Right.
shit. There's actually a show on Netflix now about the ranch, the Skinwalker Ranch. in
Skinwalker
Utah.
Ranch.
Have
yeah.
you watched that on
Oh,
Netflix?
Yes.
It just came out. I've been watching it. Like they're doing all these like. Do you know what I'm talking about, Densey?
No.
Well, real quick, but the Skinwalker Ranch is a place where UFOs, all kinds of weird shit's been seen. Like, it's cursed. This place is cursed in Utah. So some billionaire bought it, and he's like they hired a bunch of people like with drones and stuff, and some of the stuff they're starting to see, it's wild, man.
Yeah, paranormal, skinwalkers.
Right.
You know,
What's a skinwalker? An alien?
Skinwalker's like a Native American thing where they're shapeshifters. Basically, they shapeshift into different things.
They're demons.
Don't
demons,
like
yeah.
that. Don't like
So
that.
I can't remember the two Indian tribes that were at war, but one kind of settled with the cavalry, the Americans. So the ones that were forced off the land laid a curse. They cursed the land with these skinwalker things because these things are not great. You know what I mean? So, and once again, if you watch those shows on Travel Channel, you always see like crazy videos where they think there's no a lot of explanations on what these people see, and it's on video. You see it. I mean, so
Wow.
yeah.
You know, technology is one thing, but when you got guys with just simple cameras out there, you know,
Right.
and their night vision, you know, scopes or whatnot, and they're recording this stuff, that stuff's hard to doctor like that because you're sitting there going, whoa, that just happened. That's crazy.
in
It's
that
crazy.
in that documentary I'm watching on Netflix, there was a guy. They say not to dig on this because when you dig, it's cursed. And sure enough, he got like some like weird. I don't know what was it like. It separated his skin from his skull. Like
It was kind of like a real terrible eczema.
Yeah.
But it just started to eat his skin away from his head.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And they dig down and they find like severe radiation and
They couldn't figure out. Yeah. What was even? Yeah. It was nuts.
how these cows were getting, you know, radiated poisoning in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
That
Like
is-
horses would be attacked and like.
Nope.
Yeah.
Don't like it. That's.
Yeah. Skinwalker Ranch. Check it out sometime.
Skinwalker.
It sounds a creepy name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or The Search of Bigfoot is that another. That's the
Yeah,
other one.
so I'm not. I believe in Bigfoot, but I'm not huge on that. I like the ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I watch. So
I'm more of a paranormal activity guy.
yeah. So am I. I love it. So, okay. Well, you know what? I'm on the fence on one of these, but so far pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm sold on that one.
Are ya?
I was going to say it right now.
Yeah.
I'm sold. I
Yeah.
feel the passion.
All right.
If it's not, I'm going to look like the biggest asshole. Damn it.
Or I'm gonna look like the biggest liar. Like
Yeah,
this guy can lie
shit,
through his
that
teeth.
was
Like
really
he's good. This guy's good. Yeah.
Really good. That's the first time I've ever been like sold.
Sherman,
Right
Sherman, there's been a few times on this podcast where someone's beat us both. It's happened recently with both Adam and I. They beat us both, and that's hard to do because we picked two different stories, and it was the third one. That's tough to do.
Yeah.
But there's been a few times that I've been so convinced I'm right, and when they pull it out, I'm like, God damn. And they explain it to me, I'm like, son of a bitch, you know. I make a horrible cop. All right, one last story. Slip on down to the Oasis.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this one's crazy in itself. So Jerry just got back from
Fucking Jerry.
Fucking Jerry again. See, these all involve Jerry except for the one, you know, which
Maybe Jerry was the guy.
maybe Jerry was the guy in the costume, you know.
He's laughing. He's
Yeah.
like, God dang it, Sherman.
Yeah.
I got him so good.
He's into some weird furry shit, like
Yeah,
some
he's into some weird shit.
some sex cult. And
We can talk about that later too, because I'm just like, Jerry, you need to knock it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stop.
Your neighbors can see you.
No, I know.
I know, yeah, and I like it. That's probably the problem. Is he likes it.
I recognize that little My Pony tattoo on your ass.
Yeah. So
What's up, Jerry? What's up, buddy?
Yeah, Jerry. So slip on down to the Oasis. Jerry just got back from was it basic training? I think it was. And so we're having a big party at the Cage house. You know, we had these two big garages. We had parties there every weekend. Just having a big party, having a good time. Nothing crazy going on. Had the cops knock a couple times, being like, "Hey, you know, is your dad here?" "Yeah, he's inside." "Okay, well, you know," and we got several hundred people in this, you know, these garages and live band going on. John Cooley and his band playing, and you know, we're just jamming out. And he goes, "Well, all right, well, since your dad's here and you guys got everything under control, can you just turn the music down?" Could you imagine that happening now?
No.
Yeah.
No. So it was kind of a weekly thing at the Cage house that, you know, we would get this visit from the cops. But this time Jerry was home from on basic, and we were just having a good time partying, you know, his return and just enjoying the time. Well, it's about midnight. No, yeah, it's right about midnight again. And this guy comes up to the door and he knocks, and I answer, and I'm like, because if you're coming to a party, who knocks?
Yeah, right.
Right,
Just come in.
Right. So he knocks, and I hear this bam, bam, bam on the door, and I open the door, and I'm like, "Can I help you?" And he goes, "Is this where the party's at?" And I go,
No.
Yeah.
"No, it's not." And he goes, "Well, it looks like a fucking party to me." And I'm like, "Well, then why'd you ask the fucking dumb question?"
Yeah, right.
You know?
You're the asshole.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And so I was probably a little cocky and arrogant, you know, at the time, but It's midnight. I was juiced
Right.
up, You asked me a dumbass question like that, you're
Right.
going to get a dumb response.
Right.
And he's like, well, since there's a party here, we're coming in. I'm like, no, you weren't invited. And he goes, so you tell me that all these... I said, it's not for discussion, bro. These people are here for a reason. You're not... I don't know you. And so, no, you're not invited. And this guy was probably... Oh, man, I bet he was 55, 60 years old.
He's an old
That's
man.
weird, sir.
Leather
Yeah.
jacket.
Okay,
looks like
yeah.
he just got off his Harley, coming back from Sturgis or something.
Right.
Big white beard, long hair, kind of bald on top, and he's like, so I was like, all right, man, have a good night, and I shut the door. Next thing you know, I hear the door, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, did you forget something? And he's like, yeah, I forgot you. And I'm like, well, good, because I really didn't want you to remember me. So he's like, no, I want to see you outside. I was like, okay, fine, let's go outside. So we go outside, and he keeps walking toward the street, and and our driveway is huge. I don't know if you remember the driveway on Main Street there. It's a big driveway. And so we're walking across the driveway, and we're walking toward the street. Well, I see his car parked there on the side of the street, on Main Street. So I was like, do you want to do this here? What do you want to do? Where do you want to do it? Where do you feel most comfortable? And he goes, well, it doesn't matter where I feel most comfortable because I'm going to whoop your ass no matter what I do. And I'm like, okay. So then his kid jumps out of the car.
Who is 30? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, so you both are gonna get beat up here on my property tonight. Is that what you're saying? You want to bring your kid into this? You sure?
Right,
It's not very
right.
good parenting.
Right.
Right.
And so I got this buddy of mine. I don't know if you remember Tyson Cox. But anyways, he's sitting there and he's going, ubba, ubba, ubba. And I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. Why are you just ubba, ubba, ubba? And he goes, dude, you're about ready to get I was like, just shut up, would you? Well, at the time, this guy pulls out this Bowie knife, like machete type thing.
Like, that's not a knife. This is a
This is a
knife.
knife. Yeah, that's not a knife. This is a knife. And this thing is like straight up Cuban jungle machete. So I'm sitting there going, this is going to get stupid. And of course, guess where Jerry was?
You got this, bro.
Jerry's in the garage. Jerry's still in the garage tearing it up. He's getting his thing on in the garage. I'm like, here I am.
Come on.
And so
Showing
I'm
people
sitting there.
his Cabbage Patch buddies. Yeah.
So I'm there. So I was like, I told him, I said, you got two choices. I said, you can put the knife away, or I said, I can shove it up your ass, one of the two. I said, I will kill you with your own machete. And he goes, you're a cocky little motherfucker. And it's like, I said, I'm really not. I said, I just don't want you here. There's no reason for you to be here, especially no reason for you to pull a knife and just get stupid.
Right.
And then you want to bring your kid into this. I was like, it's not going to turn out good for you guys. Just put the knife away and go home. And next thing you know, as soon as I said that, here comes my dad, who was watching the whole thing from the front porch. My dad comes over with a Louisville Slugger.
Oh, shit.
And he slams it on the back of their car. Wham! And he points it at both of them. He goes, who's dying first? Who's fucking dying first? And I look at my dad and I was like, dude, I got this. Again, I got this.
You got this.
And he goes, no, you ain't got this. He goes, not with that thing. So me and my dad are kind of bickered, probably could have got slashed, the time me and my dad are bickered. And so he's just pointing at him. He's like, you got 30 seconds to get the hell off my property, or somebody's dying, if not both. And he's got this Louisville Slugger. So they start arguing again. So then my dad hits it again. Boom, hits the car again. And he goes, you got about 10 now. So they get in their car, and they leave. They never come back. So then the next day, we hear from a friend of ours that somebody was murdered at the Oasis in Wiggins. I don't know if you remember the Oasis bar in Wiggins.
They're in the corner of Stubbs, right?
Yeah. And so somebody was murdered at the Oasis bar in Wiggins. Well, then we come to find out that my dad gets a jury summons. So my dad goes to court, goes to jury, shows up for jury duty, and lo and behold, this guy and his son that were at my house threatening me with the machete were the ones being on trial for murder for killing that guy.
What?
Which he left my house, went to the Oasis, got in a fight with somebody and killed him probably 45 minutes after he left my house.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my dad, the judge, was like, hey, does anybody know, does anybody have any reasons why you shouldn't be here? And my dad stood up and he goes, yeah. He goes, because I think them two son bitches are guilty. He goes, and I don't doubt it. He goes, because they were at my house. The judge goes, stop. And so they took my dad into the chamber, and he goes, what's going on? He goes, those two some bitches were at my house 45 minutes before they killed that guy.
Oh, my God.
Threatening my son.
Did they kill the guy with the machete?
Yeah. And then his son was, the reason his son was gotten charged because his son disposed of the weapon.
Right.
Yeah.
Were they from here?
I don't know where they're from.
Wow. Huh. That took a turn I didn't see coming.
Me either.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
How many times in life do you think you avoided death?
Oh, probably way more years than I've been alive.
Yeah, that you didn't realize how many times you've been put in a situation. Well, your
do you ever
son.
do that thing where it's like you're running late for somewhere and you're so irritated, like, God dang, we're supposed to be on the road 10 minutes ago. This just happened to me the other day. It's fine. And then we finally did, and there was a huge wreck.
Sure.
And I thought that day, I was like, thank you, God.
Yeah, that's happened to me on 76, coming back several times.
It's kind of trippy, isn't it?
Because you're thinking, another light? Why do we keep hitting the lights?
Yes.
You know? And,
yes.
You know, or why do I got to stand behind the old guy counting pennies at the register?
Right. Just dumb shit.
Dumb shit. And then next thing you know, the route you're going, something just tragically happened.
Right.
2 or 3 minutes.
You missed
early.
it by a fraction.
Missed it by
Yeah.
So
That's a crazy story, Sherman.
Crazy. So
Wow. Sherman, you did not disappoint.
Yeah.
These are good.
Well, I mean, I'm not as flamboyant as Jerry. I'm not all flashy.
And you didn't bring us anything to drink.
And I didn't bring anything to drink. So
yeah. I mean, oh, I got my water. Yay.
Yeah. Jerry always prides himself on the fact that he'll tell everybody who looks older, me or Sherman. Why the hell he does that? Probably because he's got such an age complex that he's getting older. But everybody usually goes, well, we think Sherman's older, and he'll be like, see, and they're like, not because he looks older, because he acts older. He's a little bit more mature.
Sick bird.
Yeah.
No, it's getting to that point. We're the same age.
Yeah.
And a guy at work, he says turned 47 today, and they asked me, how old are you?
That's right. It's your birthday. I saw that on Facebook.
Happy birthday,
today.
brother.
Thank you. How old are you? I said 47. They go, really? They thought with all this shit, they're like, I thought it was like 50 for you. I'm like, well, up your ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I told this story a million times, but at one point in time, I tried to diet black, and it was before a city council meeting, and it gave me blackface everywhere. It dyed on my skin, so I was scrubbing my face like I got done eating dirty ass. I just could not.
Because he didn't want to get kicked off city council for having blackface.
That was not like. Hey, Larry, we like jokes around here, but I mean, come on.
Come on, now, dude.
Too far.
You're going a little too far.
I have to say, with it being your birthday, I saw that on Facebook, and I was going to say the most smart-assy thing, and then your mom had the nicest post about you being a nice kid, and I was like, God dang it, I can't shit on this.
You could have shit on it. She'd have laughed.
She would have enjoyed it. Yeah.
I know, but she loves you.
If you ever met
weirdo.
Mrs. Mom, that's exactly where the sense of humor came from. If not, she's better at it.
But also, that's her son. That's her baby.
Right.
And this is his birthday.
Well, and that's why she says the nice things. But if you came like talking shit, and that's what hurts my feelings is there was no shit talking on the Facebook today.
Nobody bashed you.
You don't want to know why? Because all the stuff they said is now becoming true. Like all the old stuff, It's like we can't say it because it's kind of hits close to home now,
Damn
So
it.
Right.
when I turned 30, someone turned me in for AARP. I got, and I don't know which friend did it, but I'm like, well played, because deep down that hurts. I'm laughing out loud, but that hurts. You sons of bitches.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah. So, all right. Well, you know what? 3 great stories, Sherman. Yeah,
Great stories. Good job.
Although you're not as flamboyant as Jerry, and I like that you use that word. So that's
and we can use that in all.
Yeah.
The whole spectrum of the
Right.
flamboyant. Yeah.
right.
Call him FJ.
Yeah.
Flamboyant Jerry.
But Jerry was, he was great though. I think a lot of people really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah,
so,
it was fun.
Yeah, I got a lot of compliments on it. So, okay, now what we got to do is we have to. Well, before we get started, I do want to say the Bullhucker. Check out the bullhucker.com one last time. Also, the DeRoche contractors will have a link to their website. If you look on the bullhucker.com. There's a link that says, as seen on the Bullhucker, that you can see anywhere we've been on there. And it's got links to all their stuff. So no matter where we've been, you can check them out, whether it's the winery, the club tap room, this place, wherever we are. So please check them out and show them love. We try and keep it in Morgan County businesses. That's why we jump around to kind of support people and kind of see what's out there. So definitely show them some love. And while you're at it, bottom right hand of the corner of the screen, there's a little red dot.
Look at this.
That's
Look
right.
at my red
That's
dog.
not what we're about here. I know what that means,
You do it
Dencia.
every time, and I just want to punch
Yeah.
you.
But please hit that. It's a
Little click for you and a big click for us.
I almost called you Adam just now. So
It's the
okay.
second time I've had to say that.
I know.
And I'm really good at it.
I know
Is
you
that
are
why?
good.
Because I'm better than Adam.
That's what it is. We don't want. Okay, Sherman.
All right.
When we decide, we have to rock paper scissors to see who has to guess first. How do you rock paper scissors?
3 pumps.
Yeah.
You shoot on 3. 1, 2.
Yeah.
The wrong way.
Where the whole shoot thing came up, I have no idea where that even came to play.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, it's come back. I don't know. The 4-pump thing dominated the last year, but this year, I'm telling you,
Oh, I
think
hear
it's.
you talking all sorts of shit.
Yeah, I know. I do talk shit because you get all mad. And you try to hurt my feelings.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
The 3 pumper is the only way. It's the only way it goes.
Thank you.
I seriously have to think about it when we're doing. Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
And you want to
Damn
know
it.
why I did that?
Damn
Because
it.
your default setting is paper. So when you have to,
I know because I'm telling you the 3 pump is wrong, so I panic.
so I know that you're going to go paper no matter what because you're concentrating so hard on
Yeah.
getting it out.
Because you can just see it, the stress
I
in her
know,
eyes. She's
it's
just
so
like, oh
true.
my God.
You know how guys worry about premature pumping? So does Dencia. So does Dencia.
Is it wrong for me to want one more?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, now we know why. So we got Slip On Down to the Oasis. You Got This, and American Werewolf and Morgan. I think Slip On Down to the Oasis is true. Only because, like, that would be a random place to bring up, and not very many people, like, I think it'd be weird to be like, I'm going to make up a story about the Oasis, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's true. I actually, I think American Werewolf is true. I'm sold, and if it's not, then I'm going to hit this water bottle over my head. I think You Got This is the Bullhucker, sorry. And the only reason why is because from the beginning I was like, Jerry not want to fight, I don't buy it. That's the part. I'm like, Jerry would fight. I think he loves all those things, but
He does.
he's just too. You even said it yourself. He's too ornery when you go. So I'm going with You Got This.
So I think that's actually a true story, just because also if they're little people, they're within throat punching distance of Jerry. Okay, they're not going to hit him in the face. They're going to try to hit him in the face. He's going to catch one in the throat. He'd rather let Sherman take a beating and still dance. You know what I'm saying? His
He'd
night,
laugh.
his night was not in jeopardy of going to shit. Okay, so I can still salvage this and have a great millennium, Jerry.
Exactly.
Or Sherman. I think that one is true. Slip On Down to the Oasis. I think that one is true as well. Yeah, I do. I don't know. For some reason, that's a kind of a crazy story. I would pick that. The reason I'm going to pick American Werewolf in Morgan is I think a slip up you had, and maybe I misunderstood you. You had told the story. You said as you're pulling off, he got up and ran away. But then you said I talked to the guy and he didn't understand what happened either. You'd have been driving away already. So that's why I'm going to pick American Werewolf in Morgan.
Okay.
So I'm going with that one, and you're going with.
I'm doing You Got,
You got
this.
this.
Yeah.
Flip it up, buddy. You're 2 for 0 today.
I am. I'm doing so good.
What's not true about that?
So what's not true about that is I did not spend a night in jail.
Okay.
I went and got my ticket, and then after I left the police department, I walked to the Cattleman's because I knew that's where my brother was.
Right.
Even though he was supposed to come over and get me, and we were supposed to go enjoy the rest of the night
So
together.
he did say You Got This.
He did.
That
He left me there to fight, and I'll tell you the reason.
Rotten bastard.
And he'll tell
Yeah.
you, and he'll tell you why. He goes because Jerry had this. I don't know what it was, but my dad always told him, protect your brothers. Don't ever let anything happen to your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jerry had that ingrained in his brain so bad that it got excessive. And so whenever I would get into an altercation, Jerry would push me aside and take care of it. So me and Jerry got into some confrontations between each other. You know, I'd be like, dude, I can fight this guy. Jerry, you're not fighting this guy because if something happens to you, Dad's going to... So then 2 brothers start fighting, and then this guy who I was supposed to take care of fight, and Jerry, he's looking at us like, the fuck's going on right here? You know, they're fighting over who's going to eat me, basically. and so then Jerry would just end up taking it.
Right.
You know, Jerry's a no-talk guy. Jerry doesn't say a whole lot. Jerry just starts throwing punches.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more of the negotiator. Let's try to de-escalate the situation a little bit. You know,
Right.
Jerry's not that way. Jerry's like, you know, you look at me like I owe you money. Pop, there it goes. You know, and so this night of all nights, for him to give me my fighting freedom was the wrong night.
My fighting freedom.
That's funny.
That is good.
Because I needed some help, man. It was like I said, it was straight up Roadhouse. It was
Right.
it was nasty.
Basically, it is your Bullhucker, but not for the reasons I thought.
Right, exactly.
That's curious.
Jerry still did not throw a punch the whole night, and the only thing was I did not spend a night in jail.
That's the only part.
That's another part.
So slip on down the Oasis is a true story.
Yeah, and the part that I slipped up on was when he jumped up, I pulled back over, and he was still pulled over.
Oh, okay.
And so I got out, and he was standing there because he didn't leave when I did.
Oh.
He was just standing there, kind of in front of it, watching
Right.
to see what was going on.
Right.
And then I was like, all right, I'm out, and I just happened to look, and I was like, oh shit.
Okay.
And then I pulled back over, like to 20 yards.
Right.
And then I walked up to him, and I was like, did that shit? Yeah. And he's like, dude.
Was there a smell?
I don't really remember a smell.
Okay.
There probably was, but I don't really remember it. But my adrenaline was going so bad that
Right.
there's probably a lot of things that I'm missing in that story,
Right.
as far as good facts, good evidence type things,
Sure.
but, because I was just like, holy shit.
Because they're supposed to be pungent, man. You're supposed to be able to smell those things
Yeah.
from miles, man. I mean, they're supposed to be just like,
weird.
yeah.
Right? I was just so freaked out that there's this huge
I knew it.
ass
I knew
thing.
it. You were just telling me with such conviction. I'm like, it's true. I know it's true.
Yeah.
So the Oasis is true too. That
The
guy
Oasis is true, yeah.
I'll be damned.
I kind of remember that because my sister and brother-in-law have always lived in Wiggins, and for whatever reason, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, so that would have been like 90, Jared graduated 90, so it would have been like 91-ish, late 90s, or early 1990, around that area. So,
Right.
But yeah, because Jerry just graduated, went to the Marine Corps, and came back. And
Right.
So yeah, that's when
Okay.
Wild.
Well, Sherman, you did awesome, man.
It's
Thanks.
fun.
Thanks. It was a great time.
Seeing you.
Yeah, you too, guys.
Thanks for
Happy
coming.
birthday again, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
Happy birthday,
Thank you.
dickwad.
Yeah. Were you nervous to do this at all?
I was. Yeah, I was a little shaken up about it. I was
Yeah.
like, shit, man, I don't know.
Everybody is, but then it's nothing, right? It's
yeah,
easy.
it's nothing. It was a great time. And,
You got it.
Yeah, and if you get the invite, I totally recommend you do it because it was an honor, man. I'm like I said, I'm a huge fan of both of you guys on the podcast.
Thank you.
Adam, I'm sorry, but
Yeah. He likes me more.
yeah.
Okay. I've got this 4-pump thing going on. Okay. I
But
understand it.
just a huge fan. So
Thanks for
I
coming.
appreciate you guys inviting me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that
a
was
great time.
fun. You had great stories.
appreciate you coming on. Like I saw Jerry at Bob's Stock, and I said, "Hey, Sherman's gonna come on." He goes, "That's good." I'm like, "I think we're gonna badmouth you." He's like, "You fuckers." And I don't remember who it was now. I've been trying to remember for like the last 5 minutes. Somebody worked with your brother Jerry, and that's what he told me about Jerry. He said he's this diehard guy. Like you want him in your corner.
You do want
yeah.
Jerry. You want Jerry in your corner.
Because he said just what you said. Like when shit hits the fan, he goes, "Jerry will be behind you, swinging it, whatever."
Jerry,
I
yeah.
can't remember who was telling me about it. He worked with somebody at one point in time, and that's, yeah, God, it's gonna drive me crazy now. But he said, "Yeah, man, Jerry's definitely someone you want behind you. He's a good
Absolutely,
dude." So,
100%. He's always been a great brother. I talk shit about him all the time.
Big
but
heart.
we have our brotherly stuff, but you know what?
Right.
I mean, he's the guy that you want in your corner,
Yep.
and
Right.
he's a great friend. And so, I'm not kissing your ass, Jerry. Here,
Yeah.
I'm just,
Oh my God. He's gonna have such a big
he's
head.
in the. Oh my god. Real.
the one thing about Jerry, I will say that dude has the most infectious laugh, though.
He does.
When you start laughing, you start laughing
Yeah.
with this. Because on that podcast, when I was editing, I started laughing. I can't remember what he said, but he leans over and he started laughing so hard at his own joke, and I started laughing at his laughing. So you got an infectious laugh.
But just like any infectious anything, it gets annoying.
right.
You know,
Well,
you,
some
you sit there,
There
you sit there and
go.
you're like, will you
Way to
just,
bring him back down.
we're like, will you just shut the fuck up for 5 minutes?
But to be fair, Jerry, if anything's gonna be infectious on you, at least it's your laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right.
Because after the stage, you never know what could have been.
You never know. You never know.
Sorry, Felicia.
Oh, God.
Sorry, Felicia. Especially if you go to that Japanese strip club and there's
Yeah.
a picture of your brother in the Hall of Fame. Like, you know what I'm saying? That party doesn't tell us. You
Right,
know?
right.
Like,
3 shortest songs ever.
anyway, Sherman, thanks so much for coming on, bud.
Hey, thank you too.
That
I
was
appreciate
fun.
it. Yeah.
All right, I'm Moose Lundstrom.
And I'm Dead Sacred Drink.
Check you next time.
Bye.